guys, and welcome to this session on ethical hacking for beginners. In a world where cyber attacks are happening every few seconds, protecting data and digital infrastructure has never been more critical. So that's where ethical hackers comes in. The good guys who hack systems to find vulnerabilities before the bad guys do. So this field, known as ethical hacking or penetration testing, is one of the most in-demand careers in tech today. Why? Because every company, from startups to governments, needs skilled professionals who can safeguard these systems, networks, and data. So ethical hacking isn't just about breaking into systems, it's about learning how systems work, thinking like a hacker, and using those skills to strengthen cybersecurity. And here's the best part. You don't need years of experience to get started. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a student, or someone planning a career switch, this session is your gateway into cybersecurity world. So stick around till the end, where we will also look at how AI is shaping the future of hacking and how you can start your own journey in this high-demand field. So here's what we have lined up for this session. First, we will learn what ethical hacking is, how it works, and why it's so important today. Followed by Ethical Hacking Roadmap, a step-by-step guide to becoming a skilled ethical hacker from beginner to advanced. We will explore 𝐂𝐲𝐿 certification, where we will learn how this top certification can kickstart your career. And then, we will dive into hands-on practice. We will learn how real-world testing is done using Kali Linux tools. Followed by where we will look at how artificial intelligence is enhancing ethical hacking. But before we get started, please like, share and subscribe to Edureka's YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated on the latest tech content from Edureka. Also, check out Edureka's certified ethical hacking course designed in partnership with EC Council to elevate your cybersecurity skills. This course offers a globally recognized 𝐂𝐲-𝐵13 AI certification and features 20 comprehensive modules that cover over 500 attack techniques enhanced by AI GPT tools. You will gain hands-on experience through 221 practical labs and benefit from the round-the-clock support provided by certified professionals. And with access to exclusive e-courseware and an exam voucher from EC Council, this course is your gateway to mastering ethical hacking and securing rewarding career in cyber defense. So check out the course link in the description box below. And to begin, let's explore our first topic, understanding what ethical hacking is all about.
So firstly, who is a hacker? Now, a hacker that you see on your screen is this black person out here. A hacker is a person who finds and exploits the weakness in computer systems and or networks to gain access. Hackers are usually skilled computer programmers with in-depth knowledge of computer security. Now, hackers are classified according to the intents of their action. Now, the first type of hackers are called white hat hackers. Now, a white hat hacker is also known as an ethical hacker. Now, this type of hacker is a hacker who gains access to systems with a view to fix the identified weakness. They may also perform sorts of penetration testing and vulnerability assessment. And the most important part to take note about an ethical hacker or a white hat hacker is that they get prior information from the company or the target that they are hacking into. So this is what actually sets them apart from a cracker or a black hat hacker. Now, a hacker who gains unauthorized access to computer systems for personal gains, that person is called a black hat hacker. The intent is usually to steal corporate data, violate privacy rights, transfer funds from bank accounts, and more such malicious stuff. Then there is also a blend of both called the gray hat hacker. So a gray hat hacker is a hacker who is in between ethical and black hat hackers. He or she breaks into a computer system without authority with a view to identify weaknesses and reveal them to the system owner in return for some bug bounty. So companies like Google, for example, actually put out a lot of bug bounties. Now, bug bounties are basically telling the public that you are free to actually find a bug in my system, and if you do so and tell me about it, I will reward you. So that is what a bug bounty is. Now, cybercrimes is the use of computers and networks to perform illegal activities such as spreading computer viruses, online bullying, and performing unauthorized electronic fund transfers. Most cybercrimes are committed through the internet, and some cybercrimes can also be carried out using mobile phones via SMS and online chatting applications. Now, there are a bunch of types of cybercrimes which I have actually discussed in my previous video called What is Cybersecurity and What is Ethical Hacking. So you all can look up that. Now, let me just get to the point of explaining what exactly ethical hacking is, unless you've already understood it. Now, ethical hacking is identifying weaknesses in computer systems and or computer networks and coming with countermeasures that protect the weakness. Now, ethical hackers have some goals that they need to meet if they're working for a company. Firstly, they need to protect the privacy of the organizations from being hacked. Secondly, they have to transparently report all the identified weakness in a computer system to the organization. Thirdly, they have to inform hardware and software vendors that are catering to the company of the identified weakness and how they can be patched. So these are the three main goals of an ethical hacker. Now, why is an ethical hacker very important for a company? Well, firstly, information is one of the most valuable assets of an organization. Keeping information secure can protect an organization's image and save an organization a lot of money. This is because hacking can lead to a loss of business for organizations that deal in finances. For example, PayPal. Now, ethical hacking puts them a step ahead of the cyber criminals who would otherwise lead to a loss of business. So basically, an ethical hacker would try to mimic a hacker and see what all vulnerabilities that he would find. For suppose PayPal has a lot of ethical hackers working for them. So they are constantly trying to find any sort of bugs that might be in their payment gateway, which is actually letting fund being transferred without being validated. So that could be a bug. So an ethical hacker's job is to actually identify that bug and patch it up before any cyber criminal actually finds that bug and uses it for his own malicious intents. Now, the legality of ethical hacking. Now, let me take a moment to actually talk about this topic. Now, ethical hacking is legal if the hacker abides by all the goals that he has to meet that we had just discussed. Now, the International Council of E-commerce Consultants, or the EC Council, provides a certification program that tests an individual's skill. Those who pass the examinations are awarded with certificates, and the certificates are supposed to be renewed after some time. Now, our course at Edureka, that is the ethical hacking course, is completely aligned to the 𝐂𝐲𝐿10, so y'all can go ahead and check that out if y'all want to become an ethical hacker, because that will certainly guide you as to how you can achieve that certification. Okay, now moving on. As an ethical hacker, you will be dealing with a bunch of security threats all the time. So it's very necessary that you know what exactly a security threat is and what kind of security threats exist. Now, a computer system threat is anything that leads to loss or corruption of data or physical damage to the hardware and or the infrastructure. Knowing how to identify computer security threats is the first step in protecting computer systems. The threats could be intentional, accidental, or caused by natural disaster. Now, in this section, we are going to talk about all sorts of security threats, and we are going to talk about the types of security threats. So what exactly is a security threat? Now, a security threat is defined as a risk that can harm or potentially harm a computer system or an organization. The cause could be a physical one, such as someone stealing a computer, or it could be a non-physical one, such as a virus attack. Now, these are the two kinds of threats that are existing out there. It is physical threats and non-physical threats. Now, there are also different kinds of physical threats. Now, let's look into the types of threats. First, it is internal threats. Secondly, it's external threats. And third is human threats. Now, let's go over them one by one. So firstly, let's look at some examples of internal threats. A fire that is inside the system, or some unstable power supply, or humidity that is actually accumulating and becoming dewdrop somewhere or malfunctioning your system. Then we come to external threats, which include stuff like lightning striking down your house, floods, and earthquakes. So these are the types of external threats. So the last kind of threats that we have is human threats. Now, human threats include theft or vandalism of the infrastructure or the hardware, disruptions or accidentals and unintentional errors that cause your computer system to malfunction. Now, let's move on to non-physical threats. Now, these are the kind of threats you as an ethical hacker will be dealing with much more. So non-physical threats is completely your forte. So non-physical threats include loss or corruption of system data, or disruption of business operations that rely on computer systems, or the loss of sensitive information. Then non-physical threats can also include illegal monitoring of activities or computer systems, then cybersecurity breaches of all sorts, and other stuffs like viruses, trojans, worms, spyware, keyloggers, adwares. There's so many other stuff. Even denial of service attacks come under non-physical threats. So basically you get the idea that anything which doesn't have a physical form, like a computer virus or worms or a DDoS attack, is a non-physical threat. Now, to protect an organization against non-physical threats, there are things that you could do. So firstly, as an organization, to protect your computer system from the previously mentioned threats, an organization should have a logical security measure in place. Now, logical security measures could include stuff like antiviruses or cybersecurity measures like some incident response system that you have for your organization for such stuff. Now, to protect yourself against viruses and trojans and worms and all sorts of stuff, an organization can use antivirus softwares. Now, in addition to antivirus software, an organization can also have a control measure on the usage of external storage devices and visiting websites that is most likely to download unauthorized programs onto the user's computer. Thirdly, unauthorized access to computer systems resources can be prevented by the use of authentication methods, and the authentication method can be in the form of user IDs and strong passwords, smart cards, and biometrics of sorts. Last but not the least is the installation of intrusion detection or intrusion prevention systems, that is your IPS and IDS. Now, these can be used to protect against denial of service attacks, and there are other measures too that can also be used for denial of service attacks. So these were some of the preventive measures that you should take for non-physical threats. Now, it is not necessary for you to become an ethical hacker to take all these preventive measures. Now, you sitting at home and watching this video can do this actually very simply by just using a virtual private network whenever you're browsing the internet, or using a very good antivirus system that you've actually paid for, because nothing actually good comes free. Let's remember that. Now, I digress and let's move on. Okay, now let's talk about the skills that you would need to become an ethical hacker. So firstly, you need to be good at programming. Now, a programming language is a language that is used to develop computer programs, and there are plenty of examples like HTML, JavaScript, Python, PHP, and you should be proficient at quite a few of these. I'll tell you why very soon. So secondly, you should also have a very good and in-depth knowledge of operating systems, especially because you'll be working on Linux mostly if you're an ethical hacker. Now, you should know how to go about the command line that exists in Linux and all the bash commands, because you'll be extensively using them for your networking purposes. Which brings me to my third point, that you should be proficient at networking and should know the ins and out of how a packet actually gets delivered from your computer to a target system. So three things: programming, operating systems, and networking. These are the three things that you'll be basically playing around with every day as an ethical hacker. Now, many people normally ask, what programming languages should I learn if I'm trying to become an ethical hacker? Well, there is no one answer, because you'll be dealing with a bunch of services. So it would be smart of you, as a person pursuing ethical hacking, to know at least one example of all the types of languages that exist out there. For example, take HTML. So you could learn HTML for actually knowing how web pages work, which will help you because it's a cross-platform language, and it is basically good if you're actually targeting web hackers. Now, login forms and other data entry methods are used using HTML to get these form types of data. Now, you could also learn PHP, which is a great server-side language and is widely used over the internet. And knowing PHP will actually help you exploit weak PHP code. So if suppose a company has some very weak backend and you as an ethical hacker have to test out their backend, you should be proficient enough to know what the language is doing and where the discrepancies in the code exist, because you wouldn't know that if you're not proficient at PHP. Same goes for databases. Now, you should definitely know some PostgreSQL and some NoSQL, along with some SQL, of course, because SQL is the most commonly used. But as an ethical hacker, you'll be working with these three types of databases. So it would be pretty helpful to know all these types of languages, like MySQL is a must. Then also knowing some bash scripting, because you'll be working on Linux, and most of the times you'll be tinkering around with tools and you'll be trying to customize them to meet your own needs. So you should learn all sorts of programming if you're trying to become an ethical hacker, because there is no single language that you'll be working on. Now, where else is programming actually used when ethical hacking? Many people ask me, after asking what programming language should I use, that why should I learn programming when I'm doing ethical hacking? Now, let me just try and explain that. Now, firstly, hackers are the problem solvers and tool builders of the company, and learning how to program will help you implement the solutions to problems that you find in the company's security. Now, it also differentiates you from script kiddies who actually use pre-made tools to actually hack into systems. So those are the people who are just practicing hacking and they already use pre-made tools like Metasploit and MITMF frameworks to actually pull off some hacking gimmicks. Now, writing programs as a hacker will also help you automate many of the tasks which would usually take a lot of your time to complete. So time saved is money made. And thirdly, writing programs can also help you identify and exploit programming errors in applications that you will be targeting. Now, last but not the least, you don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. There are a number of open source programs that are readily usable out there, but it is always useful that you can customize already existing applications and add your own methods to suit your needs. And that would be impossible if you had no idea of how to program. So there you go. I gave you 4 very good reasons as to why you should learn programming as an ethical hacker or person who is trying to pursue ethical hacking as a career. Now let's go with the different types of tools that ethical hackers use on a day-to-day basis. So the first tool that we are going to talk about is NetSparker. Now NetSparker is an easy-to-use web application security scanner that can automatically find SQL injections, cross-site scriptings, and other vulnerabilities in your web application and web services, and it is available as an on-premise and a software as a service solution. Now, its features include dead accurate vulnerability detection with unique proof-based scanning technology. It is also known for its minimal configuration required. The scanner automatically detects the URL, rewrites rules, custom 404 error pages. Then is the REST API for seamless integration with the SDLC bug tracking, and it is also a fully scalable solution. It can scan 1,000 web applications in just 24 hours. Okay, so the next tool that we're going to be talking about is burpsuite. Now, burpsuite is a useful platform for performing security testing of web applications. Its various tools work seamlessly together to support the entire penetration testing process. It spans from initial mapping to analysis of an application's attack surface. Now, its features are that it can detect over 3,000 web application vulnerabilities. It can scan open source softwares and custom built application. It has an easy to use login sequence recorder and allows the automatic scanning. And it can also be used for reviewing vulnerability data with built-in vulnerability management. It also easily provides wide variety of technical and compliance reports. And it can also be used for detecting critical vulnerabilities with 100% accuracy. It can be used for automated crawl and scan, advanced scanning features for manual testers, and it is also a cutting edge scanning logic. Now, the next tool that we're going to be talking about is Nmap. Now, Nmap is a reconnaissance tool. Now, reconnaissance is the first phase of ethical hacking. So, in reconnaissance, we are actually trying to gather all the information, and Nmap is a brilliant tool for doing that. It can tell you about the domain name server, it can tell you how a packet is actually reaching the target system, it can determine what kind of an operating system the target system is using, which is basically footprinting. It can also do some very basic fingerprinting that is trying to figure out how a packet reaches, which I just said. What is the server information? Like when was the server created? Whose name is the server under? Where is the server located? So all sorts of information gathering stuff. Nmap is a brilliant tool. Now the next tool that we're going to talk about that ethical hackers use on a daily basis is 𝐸𝐸ₐ. Now, 𝐸𝐸ₐ is a fully automated ethical hacking solution that mimics a hacker to keep one step ahead of malicious intruders. The web application security scanner accurately scans HTML5, JavaScript, and single-page applications. It can audit complex, authenticated web apps and issue compliance and management reports on a wide range of web and network vulnerabilities. Its features include the following. Firstly, it can scan for all variants of SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and around 4,500 additional vulnerabilities. Also, it detects over 1,200 WordPress core themes and plugin vulnerabilities. It is fast and scalable and crawls hundreds and thousands of pages without any sort of interruption. It integrates with popular WAFs and issue trackers to aid in the SDLC process, and it is always available on premise as a cloud solution. Okay, now the next tool that we're going to talk about is Hashcat. Now, Hashcat is a robust password cracking ethical hacking tool. It can help users to recover lost passwords, audit password security, or just find out what data is stored in a hash. Its features include that it is open source platform, it is also cross-platform, It allows utilizing multiple devices in the same system. It can utilize mixed device types in the same system. It supports distributed tracking networks, and it also supports interactive pause and resume. It supports session and restore, and there's also a built-in benchmarking system, and it also integrates thermal watchdogs and supports automatic performance tuning. And okay, so the last tool that we're going to be talking about that ethical hackers use almost on a daily basis is called SQL map. Now, SQL map automates the process of detecting and exploiting SQL injection weaknesses. It is open source and cross-platform, and it supports the following databases. So it supports MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL, MS SQL servers, MS Access, IBM DB2, SQLite, Firebird, Sybase, and a lot of other database types. It also supports the following SQL injection types. So these are Boolean-based blinds, time-based blinds, error-based, union query, and stacked queries and out of bands. So these are some of the tools that are being used by ethical hackers on a daily basis to do their job. Okay, now moving on, let's talk about social engineering. So what exactly is social engineering? Now, social engineering is the art of manipulating a user or a bunch of users of a computing system into revealing confidential information that can be used to gain unauthorized access to a computer system. The term can also include activities such as exploiting human kindness, greed, and curiosity to gain access to restricted access buildings or getting the user to installing backdoor software. Knowing the tricks used by hackers to trick users into releasing vital login information, among others, is the fundamental in protecting computer systems. Now, social engineering is a very widely used process. So, as an ethical hacker, you should know what is exactly social engineering and how it is done. So, basically, social engineering is manipulating people, as I just said. And you must all know that people are very easy to manipulate in this world because, one, they contain emotions, and secondly, emotions can wave on from one form to the other. One day you're sad, the other day you're happy. And a hacker very well knows how to actually manipulate you into giving out your information based on whether you're happy or sad. So, as an ethical hacker, it is very important for him to educate his organization's people on how to not get social engineered and giving up their social credentials. So, this is why I've included the topic of social engineering. Now, let's go over the phases of social engineering. So, social engineering is divided into 5 distinct phases and they form a cycle. So, this cycle is generally used by hackers when they're performing social engineering on you. So, you as an ethical hacker should also know these 5 steps. So, first step is gathering information. Now, this is the first step, and the hacker learns as much as he can about the intended victim. The information is gathered from company websites, other publications, and sometimes by talking to the user of the target system in itself. The next part is actually planning your attack. Now, the attacker outlines how he or she is intending to attack the target victim, depending on the information that he has gathered from the first phase. Now, after the person has decided how you are going to be attacked, he is going to try and acquire all the tools to attack you. So these include computer programs that an attacker will be using when launching the attack. So this can be something as simple as Metasploit to something as complex as a fully catered ethical hacker built penetration testing tool. Now, the fourth part is actually performing the attack. So the weaknesses that have been found through all the information gathering is attacked on with the tools that have also been gathered. Now, the information gathered during the social engineering tactics, such as pet names, birth dates of organizations, founders, and all sorts of information, is used in attacks such as password guessing. So, after the information is gained, the cycle keeps going on, and even more crucial information is passed down to the hacker. Now, social engineering techniques can take many forms. Now, these are the forms that you will normally see. So, first is the familiarity exploit. Now, users are less suspicious of people they are familiar with. That's normal human tendency. An attacker can familiarize him or herself with the users of the target system prior to the social engineering attack. And now the attacker may interact with the user during meals, when the user probably goes out for a smoke break, and he or she may join on social events while they're out for a drink, and something like that. This makes the attacker familiar to the user. And let's suppose that the user works in a building that requires an access code or card to gain access. Now, the attacker may follow the user as they enter such places, and the users are most likely to hold the door open for the attacker to go in as they are familiar with them. Now, the attacker can also ask for answers to questions such as where you met your spouse or the name of your high school math teacher, and the users are most likely to reveal the answer as they trust the familiar face. This information could be later on used to hack email accounts, other accounts that ask similar questions if one forgets their password. Now, the second technique is an intimidating circumstance. Now, people tend to avoid people who intimidate others around them. Using this technique, the attacker may pretend to have a heated argument on the phone or with an accomplice in the scheme. The attacker may then ask the user for the information which would be used to compromise the security of the user system. The users are most likely to give the correct answer just to avoid having a confrontation with the attacker. This technique can also be used to avoid being checked at a security checkpoint. Now, the third kind is phishing. Now, this technique uses trickery and deceit to obtain private data from users. The social engineer may try to impersonate a genuine website such as Yahoo or Facebook, and then ask the unsuspecting user to confirm their account name and password. This technique could also be used to get credit card information or any other valuable personal data. Now, the next form is tailgating. This technique involves following the users behind as they enter restricted areas. As a human courtesy, the user is most likely to let the social engineer inside the restricted area. And the third one is, of course, human curiosity and emotions as a whole. Using this technique, the social engineer may deliberately drop a virus-infected flash disk in an area where the users can easily pick it up. The user will most likely plug the flash disk into the computer, and the flash disk may contain auto-running viruses, or the user may be tempted to open a file with a name such as the employer re-evaluation report, which may actually be an infected file. And above this, human greed is also a major thing in social engineering. Many people are lured in by making promises such as, I'll give you so much money if you click this link, or you can win a game and win so much money, which is just general forms of social engineering to get your credentials or cookies. Now, there are a bunch of countermeasures that you can take. Now, these are pretty obvious, but let's just discuss them because we have quite a lot of time. So to counter the familiarity exploit, the user must be trained not to substitute familiarity with security measures. Even the people that they are familiar with must prove that they have the authorization to access certain areas and information. To counter intimidating circumstances, users must be trained to identify social engineering techniques that fish for sensitive information and politely say no. Thirdly, to counter phishing techniques, most sites such as Yahoo use secure connections to encrypt data and prove that they are the ones who they claim to be. Checking the URL may help you spot fake websites and avoiding responding to emails that request you to provide personal information. Now, to counter tailgating, users must be trained not to let other users use their security clearance to gain access to restricted areas. Each user must use their own access for clearance at all times. And human emotions can be helped. As we all know, humans are stupid, and there's no helping human stupidity. But still, as a general rule of thumb, never reply to any Nigerian or any African guy that is asking you for money because you just felt too kind one simple day. Okay, so those were the types of social engineering. Now, as ethical hacker, you will be dealing with a lot of cryptography. So I've also included cryptography in this tutorial. So let's go over what exactly is cryptography. Now, information plays a vital role in running businesses, organizations, military operations, and such. Information in the wrong hands can lead to loss of business or catastrophic results. Now, to secure communication, a business can use cryptology to cipher information. Cryptology involves transferring information into non-human readable formats and vice versa. Now, let us discuss what is cryptography. So, cryptography is the study and application of techniques that hide the real meaning of information by transforming it into non-human readable formats and vice versa. So let me just try and illustrate how cryptography looks like. So suppose we have some text that says I love apples. Now, if you were to use some cryptographic algorithm that actually encrypts this text by actually shifting the letters by 2, it would look something like this. So I would turn into K, and L would turn into N, O would turn into Q, V into Y, and you would have something what we call in the computing world as ciphertext. Now, ciphertext is confusing and it is almost impossible to understand if you don't really know the key. But as an ethical hacker, your job will be mostly turning ciphertext into plain text without actually knowing the key. Now that is exactly what is called as cryptanalysis or cryptanalysis. So cryptanalysis is the art of trying to decrypt the encrypted messages without the use of the key that was used to encrypt the messages. Cryptanalysis uses mathematical analysis and algorithms to decipher the ciphers, and the success of cryptanalysis attacks depends on the amount of time available, the computing power available, and the storage capacity available. Now, let's go over the types of cryptanalysis techniques or the techniques that are used to break into ciphertext. So, the first technique that is used for deciphering text is a brute force attack. Now, this type of attack uses algorithms that try to guess all the possible logical combination of the plain text, which are then ciphered and compared against the original cipher. Second kind is dictionary attacks. Now, this type of attack uses a word list in order to find a match of either the plain text or key. It is mostly used when trying to crack encrypted passwords. Now, the third kind is called a rainbow table attack, and this type of attack compares the ciphertext against pre-computed hashes to find matches. So basically, you have a table of hashes, and you're constantly comparing your given hash to the hash you're trying to find. Now, let's also discuss the different types of cryptographic algorithms that have been developed over time. So the first algorithm that we are going to discuss about is MD5. Now, MD5 is an acronym for Message Digest 5. It is used to create 128-bit hash values, and theoretically speaking, hashes cannot be reversed into original plain text. And MD5 is used to encrypt passwords as well as check data integrity. MD5 is not collision resistance, and collision resistance is the difficulty in finding two values that produce the same hash values. Now, the second type of algorithm is SHA, which stands for Secure Hashing Algorithm. Now, SHA algorithms are used to generate condensed representations of messages, and these are called digests. It has various versions such as SHA-0, which produced a 128-bit hash value. It was withdrawn from use due to significant flaws and replaced by SHA-1. Now, SHA-1 produces 160-bit hash values, and it is similar to the earlier versions of MD5, and it has cryptographic weaknesses and is not recommended for use after the year 2010. Then we have SHA-2. It has two hash functions, namely SHA-256 and SHA-512. SHA-256 uses 32-bit words, while SHA-512 uses 64-bit words. Then is SHA-3, and this algorithm was formerly known as 𝐾𝐶 and is widely used in the validation process in Ethereum, if you know what that is. Now, the third kind of algorithm is RC4, and this stands for Riveting Cipher 4, and this algorithm is used to create stream ciphers. It is mostly used in the protocols such as SSL, which stands for Secure Socket Layer, and to encrypt internet communication using WEP, which stands for Wired Equivalent Privacy to secure wireless networks. Okay, now this brings us to the theoretical end of our ethical hacking tutorial. Now it's time for some hacktivity. So for today's hacktivity, we will create a simple cipher using RC4 algorithm, and we will then attempt to decrypt it using brute force attack. For this exercise, I'm going to assume that we know the encryption key is 24 bits, and we will use this information to break the cipher. Now for this, we are going to be using this software called Cryptool, and I already have that downloaded. I'll leave the download link in the description. Y'all can download it and follow with me as we are performing this activity. So firstly, open Cryptool 1 and replace the text that you see. Now we can replace the text with whatever we want. So I'm going to be replacing it with some random text like never underestimate the determination of a kid who is, let's say, time rich and cash poor. Now that's one of my favorite quotes, and we are going to try and encrypt this. So firstly, we are going to try and encrypt this. For that, click on the encrypt and decrypt menu and point to symmetric modern. Now in symmetric modern, you will find RC4. So we will be trying to actually encrypt it using RC4. So let us put the key length as 24 bits. So we already know that, and the value has been set to 0000. Now all you have to do is click the encrypt button and you will get the following stream cipher. So this is your cipher text. So as an ethical hacker, you will be more interested in the analysis of the ciphertext rather than the creation of the ciphertext. So as an ethical hacker, you will need to analyze the ciphertext and try and decipher what is the plain text that is hiding behind this. So to do this using Cryptool, you can go into the analysis part and then go into symmetric encryption and modern. Now out here all you have to select is the algorithm that is used. Now the assumption that we made is that it is going to be 24-bit key length. So we can always assume that. And all we have to do is start analyzing. And what this will do is run a brute force search on this entire ciphertext. Now, depending on your computer's computing power, this can take some time. Now it's showing 1 hour and 32 minutes. So let me just actually let this run and show you what it's going to look like. Now, as you guys can see here, our brute force attack has been completed. It took quite some time, but our results are out here. So our result is divided into these 4 columns. So first is the entropy. The second is the hex dump. That is the hex that was analyzed. Now the third part is the part that we are interested in. So this is the cipher or the deciphered text that we got from the ciphertext. And these are the keys that were used to actually decrypt them. So when the key 4, or rather C19334 was used, this is the decrypted text that we got. Now, all these makes no sense, but just to actually identify what probable plain text is to a certain ciphertext, always look for the entropy. Now, out here, this has the lowest entropy, that is 4.0001. And as we can see that it is indeed the sentence that I had typed out. Never underestimate the determination of a kid who is time rich and cash poor. So this actually shows us how RC4, that is a brilliant cryptographic algorithm that is used in SSL and WEP, can be so easily broken with a brute force analysis. And these tools are widely available for a general user like me or you to use. So this brings us to the end of the hacktivity that I spoke about. And this also brings us to the end of this ethical hacking tutorial. I hope you guys had a wonderful time learning the various factors of ethical hacking like cryptography, social engineering, the phases of ethical hacking, and all these such. Please don't forget to watch my other video, which is what is ethical hacking. I have actually made a beginner's video as to what ethical hacking is and how ethical hacking actually works.
So what is ethical hacking? Well, the act of hacking is defined as process of finding set of vulnerabilities in a target system and systematically exploiting them. Ethical hacking as a discipline differentiates itself from hackers by adding this important concept called as consent. The addition of consent to this process will serve 2 objectives. First one, the process of being legally active. Since the ethical hacker takes permission prior to hacking into a system, it is legally made sure that he or she has no malicious intent. This normally performed by making ethical hacker signing a contract that legally binds him to the work towards the improvement of the security for the company. To sum things up, an ethical hacker is a computer security specialist who hacks into a system with the consent or permission of the owner to discover vulnerabilities in the security of a system in order to improve it. So let us now move ahead and see a few of the roles that ethical hackers do. There seems to be a general misconception that a person with an ethical hacking career is only responsible for penetration testing of system and application. Well, this is not true. An ethical hacker is responsible for much more. You see, ethical hacker perform operations such as scanning open and close port using Nmap tool, and then ethical hacker is engaged in social engineering methodologies, examining patches released to perform various vigorous vulnerability analysis on them, and an ethical hacker will see if he or she can evade an IPS, which is nothing but intrusion prevention system, honeypots, and firewall. Ethical hackers can also employ their strategies into sniffing networks, bypassing and cracking wireless encryption, and hijacking web services and web applications. As ethical hackers tries to replicate working of black hat hacker by analyzing the defense protocols and social engineering aspect of an organization. Thus, to sum up, ethical hacker job role is to protect the privacy of an organization that ethical hacker is working for. Then immaculate report any sort of breach in the system to the corresponding division with the responsibility of mending the vulnerabilities. And update hardware and software vendors regarding the sort of vulnerabilities found in the product that is being used in orchestrating the business. Alright, so moving ahead, let us now see why ethical hacking is important. We all know that data has become invaluable resource. Accordingly, the prevention of privacy and integration of data has also increased in the importance. In the essence, this makes ethical hacking extremely important today. This is primarily due to the fact that almost every business out there has an internet-facing site. Whether be it public relation, content marketing, or sales, internet is being used as a medium. This makes any endpoint that is being used to serve the medium a possible vulnerabilities. Furthermore, hackers of the present age have proven themselves to be creative genius when it comes to penetrating into a system. Fighting fire with fire might not work in the real world, but to fight off a hacker so smart, an organization needs someone who has the same training to go through. Recent hacking outrage have led to losses amounting to millions of dollars. These incidents have cautioned businesses around the globe and made them rethink their stance on the importance of ethical hacking and cybersecurity. By now, I'm sure you have a motive to study ethical hacking. Let me now walk you through the roadmap to become an ethical hacker. How you begin your road to become an ethical hacker very much depends on your current field of occupation, study, or research. If you're not in the field that is remotely related to computer science, information technology, or cybersecurity, you might need to shift to one. For someone who is at the early stage of their career, this might be an easy task, but for others, suddenly changing their field into work is a daring task. Having a bachelor's degree certainly helps you slag the job, but you can pass most of the beginner level interview with a general knowledge of networking and operating systems. Technical knowledge aside, an ethical hacker must be a creative thinker. And a reason for this is that ethical hackers have to predict and prevent crack activities, and this requires out-of-the-box thinking. Apart from that, ethical hacker should also think like an hacker in order to beat him in its own game. Furthermore, ethical hackers need to be able to work under pressure with immaculate judgment. Last but not least, an ethical hacker must be proficient at communicating the problems he finds to the corresponding department. Those who are skeptical about going to college could pursue their career in the military. Having some experience in the military, particularly in the intelligence faction, could help your resume get noticed by necessary employers. Getting a job as an ethical hacker prior to getting industry experience is really difficult. After getting an entry-level job such as tech support engineer or a security analyst, you may try attending some of the partnered certification, which will definitely give you a certain edge over the others while you're applying for the job. Speaking about certifications, let's discuss about it. While talent and ability aren't established only by certification, but they do help when you're proving your knowledge and skills to others. Even if you don't have ample industry experience, a certification like Certified Ethical Hacker, in short CHE, unquestionably helps. CHE is an unbiased credential, and generally CHE certified ethical hackers are in high demand. According to PayScale, Certified Ethical Hacker, in short CHE, earns around $88,000 per annum. Apart from CHE, few other noteworthy certifications are SANS certification, Certified Vulnerability Assessor, Certified Professional Ethical Hacker, and then Certified Penetration Testing Engineer. Alright, so moving ahead, let me now speak about few of the skills that ethical hackers should have. As I mentioned earlier, an ethical hacker is a computer expert who specializes in networking and penetration testing. Some of the skills that I would say important are experience in various operating systems, primarily in Linux and its various distributions. This is because a good portion of vulnerability testing includes invading the target system and shifting through their systems. This is impossible without a good grasp of an operating system. Then, in-depth knowledge of networking is also a key to a successful ethical hacking career. This involves packet tracking, packet sniffing, intrusion detection, prevention, and scanning subnets. Also, programming is an important skill. Now, programming is a very vast topic with different approach in every language. As an ethical hacker, it is not expected of you to be a master coder, but to be a jack of all trades. Whenever I have mentioned programming is an ethical hacking essential, I have been asked why. This is because most people don't have the slightest clue about the roles and responsibilities of an ethical hacker. Here are the few reasons that makes programming knowledge critical in ethical hacking career. You see, ethical hackers are problem solvers and tool builders. Learning how to program will help you implement solutions to the problem. Programming also helps in automating tasks that would generally take up precious time to complete. Writing program can also help you identify and exploit programming errors in application that will be targeted. Programming knowledge also helps you in customizing pre-existing tools in order to cater to your needs. Talking about tools used in ethical hacking, let me walk you through a few of them. Although it is impossible to go through every ethical hacking tool in this single session, hence I'll be just going through some of the really famous ones. Starting off with Nmap. Nmap, which is a shorthand term for network mapper. It is a reconnaissance tool that is widely used by ethical hackers to gain information about the target system. This information is key to decide proceeding steps to attack the target system. Nmap is a cross-platform and works on Mac, Linux, and Windows. It has gained immense popularity in the hacking community due to its ease of use and powerful searching and scanning abilities. Next, we have NetSpeaker. NetSpeaker is a web application security testing tool, and NetSpeaker finds and reports web application vulnerabilities such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting on all type of web applications regardless of the platform technology that they are built with. NetSpeaker's unique and dead accuracy proof building security technology does not just report vulnerabilities, it also produces a proof of concept to confirm that no false alarms have been ringing, freeing you from having to double check the identified vulnerabilities. Moving ahead to the next tool, that is Burp Suite Enterprise Edition. Burp Suite is a JavaScript-based web penetration testing framework. It has become an industry standard, and this tool is used by information security professionals. Burp Suite helps you identify vulnerabilities and verify attack vectors that are affecting web applications. Burp Suite's unquestionable acceptance and fame came to an attribute to the fantastic web application crawler. It can accurately map content and functionality, thus automatically handling sessions and handle all sort of state change, violation content, and application logins. Moving on to our next tool, that is nothing but Metasploit. Metasploit is an open source pen testing framework written in Ruby. This acts as a public resource for reaching security vulnerabilities and developing code that allows network administrator to break into his own network to identify security risks and document the vulnerabilities. It is also one of few tools used by beginning hackers to practice their skills. It allows you to replicate websites for phishing and other social engineering purposes.
The Certified Ethical Hacker certification is important for professionals who want to build a strong cybersecurity career, gain practical experience, and increase their earning potential while staying competitive in a fast-growing industry. Cybersecurity incidents are exploding, and so are cyber job opportunities. So if you're looking to build a career in one of the most in-demand fields today, the Certified Ethical Hacker program is exactly what you need. CEH is recognized as the world's #1 ethical hacking certification and offers a structured professional course designed for aspiring cybersecurity professionals. With CEH, you will be able to work anywhere in the world as it's globally recognized. So this comprehensive program covers the 5 phases of ethical hacking with hands-on learning through CyberQ labs, and you can also choose flexible learning options such as live, online, or hybrid model. So if you're ready to master the world of ethical hacking and boost your career, the CEH certification is your gateway to success. Now, let's understand who is a certified ethical hacker. A certified ethical hacker is a cybersecurity professional trained to think and act like a hacker but with legal and ethical intentions. So their main role is to find and fix vulnerabilities in computer systems, networks, and software before malicious hackers can exploit them. Now, why become an ethical hacker? India is witnessing a huge surge in demand for ethical hackers due to the rapid digitization of services, the rise of online businesses, and increasing cyber attacks. Sectors like banking, IT, telecom, and e-commerce are investing heavily in cybersecurity, creating a growing need for skilled professionals. And reports indicate a 30% year-over-year increase in demand for cybersecurity experts, including ethical hackers. The US has one of the highest demand for ethical hackers, particularly due to its large tech industry, government agencies, and critical infrastructure sectors. And according to Cybersecurity Ventures, the US will face a shortage of around 5 lakh cybersecurity professionals by 2025. And the average salary for an entry-level ethical hackers in India is around 5,50,000 rupees per year, and with experience, it can go up to 14 lakh rupees or more. And the average salary for an ethical hacker in the United States is around $115,000 per year, with top earnings making up to $215,000 or more depending on the experience and location. Next, let's look at the career benefits of becoming a certified ethical hacker. Well, 95% of professionals choose CEH for career growth, and 1 in every 2 professionals receive promotions after obtaining their CEH certification. CEH is recognized as the world's #1 ethical hacking certification. So these statistics showcase how the CEH certification enhances career opportunities and positions professionals for promotions and career advancements in cybersecurity. Now that we have looked at the career benefits of becoming a CEH, so now let's see what's new in CEH version 13. This course uses advanced AI technologies to help you work faster and smarter, so you can improve your cybersecurity skills and be up to 40% more efficient. So first we have the AI-powered learning. CEH V13 is powered by AI, which means you will learn to use the latest technology to find and stop cyber attacks. With AI, you can quickly respond to new threats and protect systems more effectively. And next is the hands-on practice. So you will get plenty of practices in this course. With hands-on labs, you will learn how to use real hacking tools and techniques. And this experience prepares you to handle real-world cybersecurity challenges. And next is the updated content. The course content is updated with the latest hacking techniques and defenses. So you will learn about the newest trends in cybersecurity and how to stay ahead of cyber criminals. Next is the productivity boost. This course helps you work faster, so you will learn how to automate boring tasks, make better decisions, and detect threats quickly. So this will give you more time to focus on the important stuff. And lastly, we have real-world challenges. You will also have the chance to test your skills in the global hacking competition. So compete with others, see how you rank, and prove what you have learned. Alright, having discussed what's new in CEH version 13, let's now take a closer look at the key skills and knowledge you will gain from this course. The Certified Ethical Hacker certification will teach you essential skills to boost your career in cybersecurity, especially in the era of AI. So here's what you will learn in simple terms. First, find and fix security gaps. So you will learn how hackers find weak spots in system and how to fix them to keep your data safe. Next, become a security expert. So you will master the tools and techniques that professionals use to protect organizations from cyber threats. Then, protect your reputations. So you will learn how to prevent data breaches and maintain your company's trust and reputation. Next, use AI in ethical hacking. So you will learn how to use AI technologies to stay ahead of hackers and improve your cybersecurity skills. Now, let's have a look at the key features updates in the CEH V13 certification. So, the first phase is reconnaissance, next, scanning, and the third phase is gaining access. Fourth phase is maintaining access, and the fifth phase is clearing tracks. So with that in mind, let's move on to the CEH learning frameworks, which is now powered by AI. So, are you ready to revolutionize the way you learn ethical hacking? So let me walk you through the Learn, Practice, Certify, Compete framework, a powerful hands-on approach designed for the Certified Ethical Hackers certification. So step 1, we have Learn. So first, you will gain critical skills through 5 days of in-depth training across 20 modules and over 220 hands-on labs with competition flags and access to more than 3,500 commercial-grade hacking tools. Plus, you will learn how to hack multiple operating systems from Windows 11, Linux, and Ubuntu to Android. Step 2 is Certify. So you will gain experience through ANAB accredited exams. So, the CEH knowledge exam feature 125 multiple choice questions over 4 hours, and the CEH practical exam, which consists of 20 scenario-based challenges over 6 hours, proves your skills in real-world situations. And step 3 is Engage. Here's where it gets exciting. So you will have the chance to gain recognition by conducting a real-world ethical hacking assignment, and you will apply the 5 key phases, which are reconnaissance, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and covering your tracks. Step 4 is Compete. So finally, you can gain respect by taking on new challenges every month, including a 4-hour competition where you will compete with peers from over the world. So hack your way to the top of the leaderboard, earn recognition, and show off your skills. Now, let's have a look at the course outline for the Certified Ethical Hacker program. It includes 20 modules, each designed to equip you with the essential skills in ethical hacking and cybersecurity techniques. So the first module is Introduction to Ethical Hacking. Next, Module 2 is Footprinting and Reconnaissance. Module 3 is Scanning Networks. Moving on, Module 4 is Enumeration. Module 5 covers Vulnerability Analysis. Then, Module 6 is System Hacking. The next modules are Malware Threats, Sniffing, Social Engineering, Denial of Services, Session Hijacking, and Evading IDS, Firewalls, and Honeypots. And it also covers Hacking Web Servers, Hacking Web Application, SQL Injection, Hacking Wireless Networks, Hacking Mobile Platforms, IoT and OT Hacking, Cloud Computing, and finally, Module 20 covers Cryptography. Now, let's take a look at the latest technology updates introduced in 𝐶EH-V13, which includes Active Directory Attacks, next, Zero Trust Architecture, then Ransomware Attacks and Mitigation, and then we have Deepfake Threats, next, IoT Security Challenges, followed by which we have Critical Infrastructure Vulnerabilities, then we have Cloud Security, Extended Detection and Responses, Quantum Computing Risk and Threats, next we have Post-Quantum Cryptography, and finally, AI and Machine Learning in Cybersecurity. Now, let's have a look at the Certified Ethical Hacker Exam Eligibility Criteria. So, if a candidate has completed an official EC Council training either at an accredited training center via the iClass platform or at an approved academic institution, in that case, the candidate is eligible to attempt the relevant EC Council exam. Or, the CEH program requires the candidate to have 2 years of work experience in the information security domain. The candidate should be able to provide proof of this experience as validated through the application process unless the candidate attains official training. Next, to attempt exams without training, a candidate must first be approved via the eligibility application process to be considered for the EC Council exam without attending training. So, remit, a non-refundable eligibility application fee is $100. The exam voucher price for Pearson VUE voucher is $1,199. The ECC exam voucher is $950. Next, moving on to the 𝐶EH-V13 exam details. The Certified Ethical Hacker version 13 certification consists of 2 parts, a knowledge-based exam and a practical exam. So together, they lead to the ultimate proof of your skills becoming a CEH master. So the first part of the CEH exam is the knowledge-based exam. So it's a 4-hour test in which you will answer 125 multiple choice questions based on the real-world hacking scenarios. And the test is online via the ECC exam portal and the passing score is 60 to 85%. The knowledge exam will test your skills in information security threats and attack vectors, attack detection, attack prevention, procedure and methodologies. Next, in the skills-based practical exam, this is a 6-hour exam in which you will face 20 real-life hacking challenges and the passing score is 60 to 85%. The practical exam is optional but will reward you with a higher level of certification. So it will test your practical skills with port scanning tools, vulnerability detection, attacks on a system, SQL injection methodology and invention techniques, web application security tools, SQL injection detection tool, and communication protocols. So once you pass both the knowledge and practical exams, you will earn the prestigious CEH Master certification. So this dual certification proves that not only do you understand ethical hacking, but you can also apply it in the real world situation. So with the 𝐶EH-V13 certification, you will have the ultimate proof of your expertise in ethical hacking and cybersecurity. Now, let's take a quick overview of the key updates between the Certified Ethical Hacker version 12 and version 13. So let's dive right into the changes. So first we have the total number of modules. So the total number of modules remains the same in both versions with 20 modules in 𝐶EH-V12 and V13. So there has been no changes here. However, the total number of slides has been reduced. 𝐶EH-V12 had 1676 slides, while 𝐶EH-V13 brings that number down to 1266 slides. So this suggests that the material is more concise in the latest version. Moving on to labs. �CEH-V12 offered 220 laps, while �CEH-V13 has added more depth by providing 221 laps. So these are broken down into 91 core laps and 130 self-study laps available as part of an upgrade. One significant update is the number of attack techniques. The Certified Ethical Hacker version 12 covered 519 techniques, but the version 13 increased that number to 550. That's a noticeable increase, giving learners exposure to more strategies. Next, we have the new technology added. So the 𝐶EH-V12 introduced new technologies such as the Method Attack Framework for computing and techniques for evading NAC and endpoint security. Whereas the 𝐶EH-V13, however, introduced a host of cutting-edge topics, and this include AI-driven ethical hacking, zero-trust architecture, ransomware mitigation, and even quantum computing risk and post-quantum cryptography. The new syllabus also emphasizes AI and machine learning in cybersecurity, deepfake threats, and extended detection and response. While 𝐶EH-V12 laid a strong foundation, 𝐶EH-V13 adds even more relevance to artificial intelligence, machine learning, and advanced security models. So if you're aiming to stay ahead in the evolving world of cybersecurity, the updates in the 𝐶EH-V13 certainly make it worth exploring. When choosing a 𝐶EH certification course, there are 3 options to suit different learning needs. So let me quickly walk you through them so you can decide which one is best for you. If you want the ultimate learning experience, the 𝐶EH Elite course is the best option. It gives you everything you need from study materials and lab access to unlimited exam attempts. You also get to compete with hackers worldwide in challenges. And the best part is, you can retake the exam as many times as you need, so there is no pressure to pass on the first try. So for those who are focused on learning and want some hands-on practice, the 𝐶EH Pro is the great middle option. It gives you 3 exam retakes, a solid amount of lab time, and 5 hacking tutorial videos. So it's perfect if you want a little extra support and flexibility with a couple of exam retakes, but don't need the full range of features like competitions. Next is the 𝐶EH Learn and Certify. So if you're mainly looking to get certified and don't need much beyond the basics, this option will give you access to study materials, labs, and 1 exam retake. So it's the most straightforward package and a good choice if you're confident in your skills and just need the essentials to pass the exam. So if you want the maximum support for everything, go for the 𝐶EH Elite. So if you're looking for a balanced approach with a room for retakes, 𝐶EH Pro is for you. And if you just need the basics, 𝐶EH Learn and Certify is your best option. Next, let's see who is 𝐶EH for. So, the Certified Ethical Hacker or 𝐶EH is designed to empower a range of professionals and organizations in the cybersecurity field. So, the first, 𝐶EH is perfect for cybersecurity professionals. It helps you drive your career forward with cutting-edge skills in ethical hacking enhanced by the power of AI. Next, for teams and organizations, 𝐶EH provides an opportunity to supercharge your team's knowledge. With 𝐶EH, your team is equipped with AI-powered ethical hacking skills. 𝐶EH is also trusted globally by government departments and military organizations. It's highly valued for its role in strengthening defense systems and cybersecurity initiatives. And for the educators, 𝐶EH offers a platform to create and grow your own cybersecurity courses and programs, empowering the next generation of cybersecurity experts. So whether you're a professional, an organization, part of the government or military, or an educator, 𝐶EH opens the door to new possibilities in cybersecurity.
Now, what exactly is the penetration testing? Penetration testing, before that, what exactly is a requirement to have penetration testing? Now, once you're going to guys have an application, the applications, of course, can have different type of vulnerabilities. Now, what exactly is a vulnerability? Your vulnerability is a loophole. It's a bug. It's a weakness in the application that you're going to have. So your application can have different type of vulnerabilities, and your penetration testing is used just to make sure that whatever the different type of vulnerabilities that you're going to have within the given environment, those vulnerabilities can be, like remediated. So entire end goal of penetration testing is to make sure that, whatever the kind of vulnerabilities, whatever the kind of weakness that you're going to have, those vulnerabilities or those weakness can easily be, you can find it out and you can confirm that that is actually a weakness. Like for example, guys, if I'm going to say that in your application there is a weakness, if someone is going to try username as one, password as one, it's going to work. Now that's a weakness that you have. As a penetration testing, what I will do is I will perform the exploitation on that weakness, where if I'm going to supply password as username as one, password as one, I will be able to perform the exploitation. So that basically happens in the case of PT, which is penetration testing, wherein whatever the weakness that you're going to have in the application, you are going to exploit that weakness out. So the entire end goal of penetration testing is to discover the vulnerabilities and to make sure that you are informing your staff that this is actually a vulnerability and what kind of complications, repercussions you can have if this vulnerability is not being remediated, and you are going to test for the security compliance. Now, talking about what are different phases of penetration testing. There are different type of phases that we are going to have for penetration testing. The first is the planning and reconnaissance. Whenever we are going to perform penetration testing, we are going to plan the phase out. Like, when you are going to gather the information about your target, you are going to plan it properly. Once that is done, then you're going to, perform a scanning and discovery, wherein you're just going to scan the environment and you're going to perform the discovery on the entire system. Once that is done, then you're going to perform exploitation. And after that, once that is done, then you're going to have risk analysis, and then you're going to ask for the suggestions. And last but not the least, you're going to have a report generation. Clear? Now moving on and understanding this phase one by one. Starting with the planning phase, guys. Like I said, in the case of planning, what you're going to do is you're going to perform information gathering. Like where you're going to perform information gathering, you will try to get the information about your target, and based on that, you're going to make the attack happen. So here in this case, you're going to use different type of testing methods that you want to use, your goals to test. You're just going to get the information about your target. Once that is done, then you're going to move on in the scanning phase. You are going to perform static analysis or dynamic. In the case of static analysis, you are not going to run the application. You are going to have the source code. You are going to have internal architecture. You are going to have entire information about the environment. And based on information, you are going to perform exploitation, but you will not run the application. Dynamic is just reverse of it. In the case of dynamic, consider this like a black box testing, where in this case, you are not going to have internal information. You will have zero information about the source code, internal analysis, every information, you have a zero information on that. So here in this case, you're going to inspect the application code by running it, but you're not going to have any internal architecture details. So it's going to be completely dependable on running of the application. Now talking about execution phase. So this is very important phase where the actual damage is going to be done. And the next one you're going to have is the analysis phase, where the activities are going to be involved in this phase. And the last is basically the output phase. So the result of penetration testing are going to be compiled into the detailed report in this phase. The reporting is very important factor in this case, so that later on we can know that what kind of harm it has been done. Now moving on, talking about penetration testing types. Now, penetration testing can be of different types. There are different ways through which the penetration testing can be there. So the first is network services. So in the case of network services, like you are going to have internal application, and in the case of network services, you are going to have like the different networks and all that you're going to scan. Second is a web application, where you're going to scan the web application, and once the application is going to be scanned, then you're going to have the entire result. Third is a wireless, where you're going to scan the wireless components like the Bluetooth, your Wi-Fi's and all, in order to find out the vulnerabilities. Next is social engineering, that you're going to scan the environment to find out the weakness, and last is the client side. Now there are different type of penetration testing. So you have a black box testing. Black box testing is a testing wherein you are not going to have any knowledge about the internal environment. You don't know the source code. You don't know the internal architecture. You have a zero information about it. So black box testing is a testing where you are going to have zero knowledge about the given environment on which you have to perform a test. Wherein in the case of white box, you are going to have complete information about the target. The source code, you're going to have every information about the target. Just white box testing is generally done by those people who are working internally in the organization. And the last one that you are going to have is the gray box. So gray box testing is testing which is going to, is a testing where you're going to have a partial knowledge. So you are not going to be like that where you have zero knowledge. It's not going to be like that you have full knowledge, but you are going to have partial knowledge. Now, moving on, different type of penetration testing like we discussed. For these different type of penetration testing that we are going to have, it requires different type of penetration testing strategies that we require. Like for example, like for wireless, we are going to have different strategies, because we can't use the similar kind of strategies for all different type of application. Different application will require different use case and different strategies for that. So like if you are going to perform external penetration testing or internal, the approaches are going to be different, because in the case of external, you are going to have external domain facing. In the case of internal, we are going to have this facing in the internal way, and you can have different type of tools available for that. Like we have various tools like Nessus, which is basically a scanner which will help you to find out the vulnerabilities. Nessus, Qualys, different type of tools. For scanning, if I talk about Nmap, Zenmap is a GUI version of it. OpenSSL, which is an open source, with the help of which you can do a key generation and all. You have Wireshark, which is a packet capture tool, with the help of which you can just you can capture the packet. Clear? Let me just show you one small example, guys. Small demonstration, which will give you more clarity. Now, this is basically a website wherein you can just simply generate the different type of keys. Like here in this case, let's say I'm a hacker, so I was able to see that what exactly is the key that you have generated. So here in this case, if I want to perform an encryption, so in order to perform an encryption, I'm going to use the public key. So like I'm going to enter the data which I have to encrypt. Like for example, I have to encrypt my bank account number, and this is the expiry, and this is the CVV. So I'm going to get this encrypted with the public key, and here we go, the encrypted output. Once that is done, let's say the hacker was able to eavesdrop your communication, so hacker will be able to simply put the ciphertext, and he will be able to decrypt the entire data with the key that you are going to have. And here is the original data which is being produced, which is being decrypted. So that's the way the hacker can try to, break the entire security, and he will be able to see the entire data in between, and he will be able to change any kind of data or sensitive data that you're going to have.
Let us understand what's the importance of AI in ethical hacking. Ethical hacking is all about finding vulnerabilities before the attackers do. But in today's digital landscape, the threat volume is staggering. So traditional manual methods can sometimes miss subtle and emerging threats. So this is where the AI comes into play. Rather than replacing human expertise, AI is here to amplify our capabilities. With machine learning and deep learning, AI can analyze massive amounts of data, quickly spot anomalies, and even predict potential attackers before they occur. So imagine having a digital assistant that never sleeps and continuously monitors your network for suspicious patterns. That's the power of AI in ethical hacking. With its significance clear, let's dive into the innovative AI-driven tools and techniques that empower our defenses. And the first tool on the list is Sentinel AI by Darktrace. This tool uses unsupervised machine learning to detect real-time anomalies in network traffic. It can flag zero-day exploits even before signatures are available. Next on the list is Pentera automated pen testing. Pentera mimics real hacker behavior to scan for vulnerabilities automatically. It's like having a virtual penetration tester that works 24/7. Next is the IBM QRadar Advisor with Watson. This tool leverages natural language processing to help parse threat intelligence reports and suggest precise remediation steps during incidents. Next, we have is CrowdStrike Falcon, an AI-powered platform that provides endpoint protection by detecting and preventing malware, ransomware, and advanced persistent threats. It offers real-time monitoring, behavior analysis, and incident response capabilities, making it ideal for enterprise environments. Next is the Cylance Project. Utilizes AI and machine learning algorithms to prevent cyber attacks, including malware and ransomware. By analyzing files and behaviors before execution, it blocks malicious activity before it affects systems. Next is the platforms like HackerOne.AI and Cynet 360 Auto XDR. These tools enhance bug bounty programs and offer integrated security solutions for smaller teams. Each of these tools automates parts of the vulnerability assessment process, reducing the time it takes to detect and respond to threats, so thereby significantly boosting the efficiency and accuracy of ethical hacking. Now, having examined these cutting-edge solutions, let's see how they translate into real-world success stories. So consider the example of a fintech startup that was struggling with traditional vulnerability scans which took days to pinpoint issues. And by integrating AI-driven penetration tools, this startup was able to uncover a critical SQL injection flow in just a few hours, saving them both time and millions of dollars. So this isn't an isolated case. Industries worldwide are embracing AI to strengthen their security. From large-scale events like Microsoft's Zero-Day Quest, which incentivizes AI-focused vulnerability research, to smaller enterprises deploying AI-enhanced defenses. The trend is clear. AI is becoming a game changer in ethical hacking. After seeing tangible results in action, it's time to address the ethical considerations and challenges associated with leveraging AI. While AI tools dramatically enhances our ability to detect and respond to threats, they can also be exploited by malicious attackers if they fall into the wrong hands. This dual-use dilemma calls for strong ethical frameworks and regulatory oversight. As ethical hackers, we must ensure that these tools are used responsibly, with continuous human oversight and rigorous training. Now, looking ahead, the future of ethical hacking is both exciting and challenging. Emerging trends include AI red teams, autonomous systems that simulate advanced persistent threats to test your security posture. Next is the zero-trust security models, ensuring no one inside or outside your network is trusted by default. Next, integrations with cloud and IoT security. As more services move online, AI will be key to monitoring complex multi-cloud environments and IoT devices. Next, quantum-resistant encryption. Preparing for a future where quantum computing might challenge current encryption standards. This innovation undergoes the need for a proactive and forward-thinking approach to cybersecurity. As we continue to harness AI, staying ahead of the curve with continuous learning and adaptation will be critical. And with this, we have come to an end to this session on ethical hacking for beginners. If you enjoyed listening to this video, please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment on any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. And do look up for more videos and playlists and subscribe to Edureka's YouTube channel to learn more. Thank you for watching and happy learning.